Hey, so it's Eric coming at you from the 3D dungeon here. Yeah, well, it's my basement. You probably used to see me up in the studio for a lot of the Max for Live videos, but this is actually down in the basement, kind of the obviously unfinished area down here because, well, my wife doesn't mind me having lots of stuff going on here and the messy desk and whatnot. So, what do I got here? Let's see. These are my three printers. Yeah, why have one when you can have three? There's a story behind them. The main one over here is my original Maker Farm i3V. It's a Prusa i3 model with these. It's a V because of the V rails here. I got it from Maker Farm a couple of months back, and I put it together. And it comes as a kit. I got it with the Rumba board and E3D hot end, and I really liked it a lot. So much so that I said, "Geez, wouldn't it be great to have more than one?" Because first thing you discover about 3D printing is it's slow. It takes a lot longer than you want it to because it's slow. So you see a lot of people who get into 3D printing wind up with more than one 3D printer. So I figured I'd jump right to that and say, all right, how can I effectively get more capacity? So I could have just bought more Maker Farms because I liked the Maker Farm. I liked the capacity. I liked the 12-inch print bed. But being a complete idiot and do-it-yourselfer that I am, I decided, well, if it's an open source idea or open source design, why not build from scratch? And that's what I did. And that's the story behind the other printer way over there and this printer here, my M2 and M3 as I call them. M1 is the original Maker Farm, and M2 and M3 are the ones that I cloned. Um, I was lucky enough to find a DXF file out there that was the basically an AutoCAD sketch of the frame. It was wrong in a lot of ways, so I had to do a lot of fixing. And I was able to use that and have some friends and some resources at the school where I work and one of the maker centers around here in over in Troy that get some access to a laser cutter. So the frames for those two guys are cut using a laser cutter. They're MDF, and all the other parts are sourced via the internet, obviously, because that's where you get parts. Some of them coming from eBay, from China, a lot of them on Amazon, a couple of McMaster orders and things of that nature. So that's what kind of led to the three printers. They're virtually identical. The two on the sides are definitely identical, except no, they're not identical. They have different controller boards, and we'll get into that at some point. A Ramps board versus a Rumba board. These are all the 3D boards. Um, so that's kind of the main 3D printing resources. Now, over in the shop next door, I have a Xcarve, which is a subtractive manufacturing process, basically carving things out as opposed to building things up. And we'll get into that a little bit later on. Let's see, it's March now. The weather's been really good, so I have no excuse to not take you out there, other than, well, anyway, can only cover so much in one episode. I have a little Mac Mini down here, which you can't see because it's like hiding over there. And that kind of runs the operation. I have Simplify 3D and a bunch of AutoSketch products, everything from Fusion to 123D. Use Simplify 3D as my cutter. You'll see that, my slicing program, I should say. You'll see that later on. And a lot of this got started. Well, I got started before, but then I saw Star Wars, the new Star Wars movie, and I said, "Wow!" Um, I've always wanted to make some props and things. I've kind of always tinkered with that. And there's a 3D, there's a BB-8 Builders Club which I joined, and I can't recommend it highly enough. That's one of the loaded statements, but I really mean that. The BB-8 Builders Club is really great. A lot of great people from there, and they created this 3D model of a 3D printable version of the BB-8. This isn't that. Well, it's sort of that. Some of the parts are. You'll see as we go into things around here. You'll see some bits of some drivetrain experiments I'm doing. How I might actually run BB-8 and get them to roll around. This is my pirate ship design over here. Happy to go into that at some point in the future. And then we have like actual big parts. Here's one of the triangles, or an early triangle that I printed out. And we'll be getting into that right now. This guy is printing one of the orange rings, kind of an experiment to see how much support is necessary. It's one of the other things about 3D printing. You need support. It's not trivial. It's a great hobby. It's very addictive, but it definitely gets to you. There's lots of different materials you can 3D print with as well. So I'm just, it's exciting. It's fun stuff. It's easily, it's a great way to spend lots and lots of time. It's supposed to be like, you just let it go and it just does it. But of course, it's just like you get absorbed in watching the dance that these things do to kind of create these objects from nothing or from expensive plastic rolls of plastic. Um, yeah, so we'll get into more of that. Hopefully, some specific topics. This is sort of just an introduction of where, in case you're wondering where I am sitting in all this. It's in my like I said, my 3D dungeon. You'll see my supplies around. We'll get into all that, things like scales and hairspray and super glues and nail polish remover, um, kicker, accelerants for glue, everyone's favorite glue stick tape, and how to stick things to the heat bed. I'm no expert, so subscribe to the channel just to see like me tinkering away. I'm I'm fairly technically knowledgeable, but I wouldn't call myself an expert in 3D, just like I wasn't really calling myself an expert in Max for Live. I just kind of learned as I went along, and I'll share with you my experiences and where that goes. And hopefully we'll do some crazy creative things along the way, and hopefully not burn down the house or anything like that. Don't tell my wife I said that. Okay, till next time, it's Eric at LearnMax, and now we're LearnMax and LearnMax 3D. Okay, take care. Bye.